Meow everybody, this is VRCkittyPa. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to set up the Meownyrn Cat to have eye and face tracking. This is currently only version 1 of it, which is a little bit limited. I hope to eventually release a version 2. It's taken me a little while to get out this version just because I haven't been super happy with the fidelity of the VRChat version for eye and face tracking so far. There's a bit of a slow latency with it. It only transfers around 5 to 10 frames per second to non-network accounts, but it works overall. Before we get started, you'll need to have software and hardware to run face and eye tracking on your computer. There's different setups, but the most common is a Vive Pro Eye and a Vive Facial Tracker. Later in this year and probably into next year, there'll be some new hardware that'll support eye and face tracking, maybe from Facebook or some others. But for now, we just have the Vive alternatives. So I'll link a video in the description that goes over how to set it up. One of the more important notes is to use version 1.3.1.1 of the Vive software. The newer ones don't have GPU usage for whatever reason. They just use the CPU, which can be really hard on your computer. So if you have a decent graphics card, I recommend downgrading to the older version. So without further ado, I'll get started. So there'll be the OSC version 1 of the assets on Gumroad. You want to import those into your already set up cat. It'll include the AD, FX, and GX animator layers. Those are the most important parts, as well as the OSC menu and OSC parameter. So in order to put it on an avatar, all we want to do is go to scenes, take whichever cat we want. In this case, I am just going to duplicate. It's probably glitching out, but I'm just going to duplicate this one and going to open up. This is the your cat character here, and we'll want to put our materials on our cat, the ones we want. So in this case, I already have set up some frosty aqua shaders. If I can remember where I put those. Here we go. And I'm going to go ahead and put them on the avatar. So with this setup, you don't get any customization, so that's something to keep in mind. So what you set up here is what you're going to have. The reason for that is the parameters for VRChat face tracking use up literally all that's available for you. So, and it's not even the full fidelity. That's the reason why this is version 1. Version 2, I want to go back and add a binary setup to get some more high quality fidelity to this, but right now it's just 16 floats, which doesn't capture all of the eye and face tracking data, but it's the max that VRChat will allow you to have. So once you put in your materials, we need to go put in our animators. So this is where the folder we're just in, the OSC data folder. Go into here, and we'll want to drop in the GX file just to here, the effects into the effects. And then what's different than the normal cat is we'll want to do an additive layer. This controls the eyes. It goes through a human rig, and for a reason it seems to work best on the additive layer. I couldn't get it to work in the gesture or the action layer. And then we'll want to change the menu to OSC menu. It's just the blink menu. And then we'll want to put in the OSC parameters. That's a big important part because that controls your parameters that are synced across the network. So once that's all done, we're pretty much ready to go. If you want to customize your avatar further, I left in a bunch of the some of the options for size of like ears and tails in the gesture layer. So the ones you couldn't do through blend shapes, you want to go through and figure out which ones you want. So if you want the larger tail size and the larger ear size, you'll need to open up the gesture animator and go under parameters and click on for the smaller ears under here in the parameters, and that will make it run those constantly until it's updated, which there's nothing to update it. The effects is pretty much just running the face, so you shouldn't have to change anything in here. And if you look at the additive layer, that's just running the eyes. If you want to change your blend shapes, you'll need to do that manually on the body this time. So if you want a certain color tag or something, you'll need to go into the blend shapes and set that up in here. Also, if you want to turn off some dynamics or other options, you'll need to do that on your avatar before you upload. But with all that said, it should be ready to upload to VRChat and hopefully work well and enjoy. I'll probably put this OSC cat right here onto my world, Meownyrn Water's Edge. So if you want to try it out before setting up yourself, you can go ahead and do that. There should be a bunch of other VR face avatars if you search up like VR face or something in the worlds on VRChat, so you can find some stuff to test to make sure your hardware is working before you try setting up a whole avatar. So, anyways, I hope y'all have a wonderful day or night. Meow.